Good morning. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. We're going to be talking about interviewing soft skills. I'm going to call it. It's a few of the fine tuning that you need to do to get ready for an interview that a lot of career experts and counselors don't think to share with you because they may think you already know some of these basic tips that you need to be successful in doing an interview. But I really find in working with my clients and preparing them for interviews that often they don't have all of the very basic discrete skills that they need to be successful during an interview and really nail an interview and get the job. And I know that's what you want to do. So that's what we'll be talking about today. First, a little bit about myself. My name is Mary Sherwood Savinsky. I'm a career and occupational consultant and work with folks to help them get back to work if they're not employed or to get a better job if they currently are. A lot of the people I work with are looking to make a change either in their careers or to a different employer, that sort of thing. So interview skills, resume preparation, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles, that sort of thing are some of the things that I do with people to help them either get into a better position or to find a position. So that's a little bit about me. I do have a number of free resources online that I do hope you'll take advantage of. One is my blog, jobsearchfortherestofus.com, and you can access a number of other resources, my YouTube magazine, sample resumes, newsletter, things like that through my website as well, www.life-works.info. You can always feel free to email me if you have any questions at all, or if you're not sure if I might be able to help you, just shoot me a quick email, lifeworks@mail.com, lifeworks@mail.com. Happy to take any questions that you have. If I can't help you, I might know somebody who can, so please feel free to reach out and ask me. There's no stupid questions as far as I'm concerned, so please feel free to ask me anything that you would like, and I'll get right back to you. And I hope you enjoy this series of videos that I have, tips 1 through 10. This is kind of a compilation of all of those, just kind of touching on the high points of each one so that you can pick and choose which ones you feel like you need to view in more detail to really make a more impactful impression in your next interview and get that job. So I'm just going to run through briefly all of the 10 tips that I do have detailed, again, in a whole series of videos that you can review, as well as a series of articles available on examiner.com. And today I've posted what we'll be talking about today online on my blog, jobsearchfortherestofus.com, so you can always visit there and easily access any of the videos that you'd like, or even this video. I'll make sure to add a link to it once it's uploaded. So let's go ahead and get started, but please feel free to pop in and ask any questions if you have any as we go, or save them to the end. If you would like, go ahead and shoot me an email, and I can see those while we're online and answer those questions for you as well. You can always post a comment on my blog if you don't want to pipe up during the session or don't want to take time away to email me. Just post on my blog later on, and I'll make sure and answer your question that way. So let's go ahead and get started then. If you're looking for work, you're probably already reading a lot of articles and maybe even seeing a lot of videos like this one that are designed to help you understand how best to answer interview questions, what to do during an interview, what not to say during an interview, what not to do during an interview. These are what I would call the nuts and bolts of interviewing, and I think there's a lot out there to help people with that. Like I said in my intro, I don't find that there's much in the way of the soft skills that you need to be successful out there. You maybe haven't had to interview in a while. Maybe you have never interviewed. I do have those clients that have seemed to have glided from job to job and you know, just kind of been offered a job while they have one and hadn't really had to have a formal interview at all. You might be one of those folks, and now the economy has kind of changed, or maybe you're looking to make a change yourself, and you are faced with the prospect of interviewing for the first time, perhaps after many years of working in your field. So it can be a little nerve-wracking, and you want to make sure that you have all your bases covered and that you really present well and you're putting your best foot forward. So that giving you these soft skills will help you do that and really make sure to fill in some of the gaps that the nuts and bolts folks might have left out for you. So hopefully your interview is not tomorrow and you are interviewing well ahead of time. The time to start practicing for an interview, or preparing for an interview at least, is when you start job searching. So if you're job searching, buckle down and start preparing for your interview now. There's a lot of legwork that you need to do, to make sure that you know everything that you need to know to be successful during an interview. It's very competitive in the labor market right now. Somebody out there may know more or do more or have more skills, and you can really overcome that if you wow them during the interview. And if you're personable during an interview, you might get hired over somebody else because you made the interviewer feel more comfortable, let's say, or you seemed more personable during the interview. So these are little things that can really make a big difference. And when it comes down to it, hiring's a very subjective thing, and you do want to put your very best foot forward during every part of the interview and job search process so that you up your chances, of course, of being seriously considered and hopefully hired, of course. So do prepare well ahead of time, and again, we'll talk a little bit about the soft skills that you need to be successful in interviewing. The first one is to prepare for an interview, and you hear a lot about that from everyone in the world who deals with anything related to a career. And when they say prepare for the interview, you'll see, if you read that particular section on examiner.com or view the video on YouTube, that what we're really talking about is over preparing, so that you are very confident and have more than you need to be successful during an interview. So over prepare. The second tip is to take notes, and be prepared to take notes during an interview. And some people are surprised when I say that, but it really is okay to take notes during an interview, but you want to be careful to be prepared to do so that you don't get flustered or distracted by your notes or by your note taking. So there are some things that you can do there to prepare. Tip number 3, and sometimes I get snickers with this one, but have appropriate and comfortable clothing to wear for the interview. A lot of people talk about the appropriate, but may not speak too much about the comfortable aspect, but it's very important that you feel comfortable and confident during an interview. So some tips on how to pick out that appropriate outfit that's going to make you feel confident during an interview. Tip number 4, we're talking about visiting the location ahead of time and some of the reasons why that's important. You certainly want to do that very close to the interview, actually, not a week before, not 4 days before. I wouldn't even say 2 days before. I would go the day before the interview, if at all possible, to scout out the location, see how the construction is, make sure you can find the office suite, that sort of thing. So visit the location ahead of time. Tip number 5 also surprises people sometimes: relax. You can't cram for an interview, really, and you're not going to do anybody any good, least of all yourself, by studying and working and practicing the very night before your interview. You should have already had this done and have it under your belt well before the night before the interview. So just relax and take care of yourself, and I give you some tips on how to do that. During the interview, it's important to breathe. It helps you in a number of ways, not the least of which it keeps you from saying too much. You don't want to have every other word be And if you train yourself, you can take a breath in instead of saying and just continue on. And that way you will be very prepared for those pauses, even when you need to think of something to say. Tip number 7, strike a pose. That deals a little bit with how to handle those awkward moments when perhaps you do need a little bit more time to think, or you're worried that you're taking too much time to think, and how to send a message to the employer to let them know you are thinking and you have not spaced out. Usually you're the only one concerned about that. The employer wants you to think about the questions and your answers. So I'll give you a few tips there. Smile in number 8 is a good tip. You want to appear pleasant, appear as if you're someone who the employer would want to have to deal with every day, certainly. And you want to put the employer at their ease too. They may not be a good interviewer or looking forward to interviewing or have ever done it before. So you want to put them at their ease, and smiling can really do that. It really lightens the session a little too. You want to ask questions. Tip number 9, we talk about how to ask questions to lay the groundwork for having a conversational feel to your interview, and again, putting the interviewer at their ease and you coming across as being a pleasant person, somebody that they would like to interact with on a daily basis. So again, they're going to be more likely to hire you. Of course, number 10, body language. We talk a little bit about how to lean forward to show your interest, and be mindful of your hands and some of those types of things that are perhaps more commonly addressed in the nuts and bolts of interviewing. I do see a little bit more about those than some of these other topics, but all very important. Yes, you want to prepare for how you're going to answer questions during the interview. Yes, you want to research the company. You want to do all of those things that are recommended in the nuts and bolts of interviewing, but you want to pay attention to these soft skills too. And it's important to give yourself as much information and preparation as you can, so that by the time you are sitting down in front of the employer, you're going to impress him and you're going to feel very comfortable, very confident when you're talking to her. So I hope that you are getting something out of these videos that I'm posting on YouTube. I do have quite a number posted online, and I'll keep posting them as topics come up. I do think that sometimes people have difficulty reading, or not comfortable reading, or bored reading. So this is a nice way to share information with people that maybe do not prefer reading information. So thank you for taking the time to join us here today. It was great having you. I don't see any questions either here online or coming across on my email. So I'll just close with encourage, please, again, take advantage of the free resources that I have on my blog, www.jobsearchfortherestofus.com, all one word, run together. It's super easy. All the words are easy to spell. So just plug that into your browser or your search engine, and check out the blog and all of the free resources that are available for you there. I do have a book that I'm selling directly on my website right now, which again is life-works.info, but will be coming out later this year in Amazon.com in their online store. It's an ebook, so it's very easy to download, very affordable. $15 right now, and it's chock full of exercises and tips and resources. So I hope you'll avail yourself of that too, please. And if you have any questions about that or any of the other resources, don't hesitate to email me at lifeworks@mail.com. And I look forward to seeing you here again online, or hearing from you on email, or even telephone or Skype. I'm on Skype too, mary.e.sherwood. So check for me there, or on Live Person. I'm usually logged in if I'm on the computer. So just reach out and introduce yourself. Feel free to ask me a question if you'd like to. But again, thank you for taking the time to join me today. Your career is very important. We spend a large part of our working day at work, or a large part of our day at work, I should say, and it's important that you enjoy what you do and that you feel good when you get home at the end of the day about what you are doing. You don't want to bring the baggage or the negative feelings from work home with you and have it overflow there. So be mindful of that. Try to keep a balance, certainly, but I hope you enjoy work as much as I do. Thanks again for joining me. Mary Sherwood Savinsky. Talk to you soon.